Not all stories start with a bang. Some stories start with a squeak. The mouse was acting very peculiar. Anxiously, it scampered for the safety of Grayson's cloak. And even stranger still, Grayson didn't recognise where they were. Swiftly standing to attention, Grayson surveyed the room. It was odd. The place felt familiar, yet unfamiliar at the same time. Each bolstered by the other, and ready or not, Grayson and the mouse strode on, unsure of what lay ahead. Grayson began to wake. His body ached, and his bones rattled. Blearily, he examined the grim night before him. As his dreams quickly faded from memory, he remembered his goal. If he wanted to see his father again, to get even one step closer to home, he needed to get into that pub. But how? geordie lamp. This was the place. Grayson needed to find a way in. A heavy-set man stood blocking the doorway, sniffling angrily under the peak of his flat cap.
Yeah, how the way, man? What's it been like you there now this time of need, eh? Oh, bloody hell. Reet, where you's best gone, yem. Oh, sorry, you're not understanding me accent, like. Yeah, how's about this then? Go home.
The mouse had just gotten over a cold. It seemed wise to keep its distance. A heavy-set man stood blocking the doorway, sniffling angrily under the peak of his flat cap. A small tower of crates was placed next to the kitchen doorway. The crates were perfectly stacked. Grayson didn't want to ruin them. The mouse wasn't sure how it could help. There was a large pile of cigarettes on the ground. The chef must have been a heavy smoker. Grayson was too young for a smoke. The mouse had quit years ago. The downpipe was heavy with quick-flowing rainwater that gushed into the drain. Grayson didn't think that would help. The mouse had never been keen on sewers. The trolley looked to be in good working order. The barrel was too heavy. There must be a way to move it, Grayson thought. The mouse once saw a strong man at the circus. He lifted a whole barrel above his head. The mouse wasn't a strong man. The barrel was too heavy to move. Grayson wasn't sure what to do. The mouse chirped supportively, unsure what else to do. The window was thick with steam, obscuring Grayson from the chef. Grayson didn't want to get too close. The chef might have seen him. The mouse seemed to stick out its tongue, mocking the chef. A small pile of ash had amassed on the windowsill. Grayson didn't want to get too close. The chef might have seen him. Newcastle was an industrial city. There was plenty of ash to go around. The mouse was too young to start dyeing its fur. Maybe this is my way in, Grayson pondered. Huh? It seemed a very big door for a mouse, so small. A warm orange glow emanated from the lantern. The lantern was too high. The mouse wasn't going up there. metal railings were fixed into the wall. The top of one had been shorn to a sharp edge. Grayson liked to run his fingers along the metal railings, but it wasn't the time. The mouse squeaked. Something about the railings seemed useful. These perishables look perished, Grayson thought, staring at the broken table. There was nothing to be done. The mouse shrugged, unsure how it could help. Grayson wasn't that hungry. The mouse flared its nostrils, inhaling the rotten stench. Ah, a good vintage, it seemed to say. The bag looked sad and sodden. The bag was cold and wet to touch. Grayson tossed it aside. Vaseline, that always comes in handy, Grayson thought. The tin was stuck. Grayson would have to find another way to dislodge it. The mouse was the brains, not the brawn. These perishables. Grayson wasn't that hungry. The mouse flared its nostrils, inhaling the rotten stench. Ah, a good vintage, it seemed to say. Who would leave a perfectly good pair of hoof nippers just lying around, Grayson thought. There were no horses to be seen, but you never know when something might need a good nip, Grayson thought. There were no horses to be seen, but you never know when something might need a good nip, Grayson thought. The tin was warped, its lid fixed in place. It was too difficult to open by hand. Grayson couldn't get the angle right. He needed another way to open the tin. Iron horse tethers were fixed onto the market wall. One hung loosely from its fitting. A horse must have bolted, Grayson thought. Grayson had no horse to tether. The mouse shuddered. Horses liked to stomp. The mouse didn't like stompers. Ah, Newcastle. Somewhere in the bustling city was Grayson's home, nestled between the cobblestone pavements and the towering oil lamps. Grayson would get there, he was sure of it. That did the trick. The lid flew off the tin, leaving its base intact. Vaseline covered the inside of the tin. What does Dad call it? Grayson thought. Petroleum? It didn't work. Grayson remembered his uncle hammering bungs into ale barrels back at the cottage. The bung was stubborn. It wasn't going anywhere without a fight. The mouse couldn't help. After an initial struggle, the bung popped from the barrel and outpoured its sweet-smelling contents. It was too dark to see in. There was nothing to be done. Drowning in alcohol, the mouse could think of worse ways to go.
What's that going on down there? I hear some noise, eh? It's those bloody urchins again, I bet. Yeah! If I see yous again, yous are gone in the soup, burning butter special.
Eric! What the bloody hell are you doing, man? That stew should have been done an hour ago. Get in and get to work.
I am coming. I was just sorting the special ingredient.
That did the trick. The chef left the door wide open. Grayson was elated. But it began to dawn on him. The chef was still at his station, alert as ever. Grayson needed a distraction. Hang on, Grayson thought.
Better leave us alone, like.
What's that sound? Ash, hot with ember, floated down, extinguishing on the barrel's sodden top. An idea began to form in Grayson's mind. With a plan in place, Grayson and the mouse got to work. The crate was partially open, catching Grayson's eye. Grayson removed the lid. Empty. Well, except for some wood shavings. Grayson placed the wood shavings in his satchel. Crates were stacked against the alley wall. The crates looked a bit too heavy to lift. Ah, yes, crates, the mouse seemed to say. The wood shavings were delicate and dry. The top of the barrel was wet with rainwater and soggy ash. If only I can keep the ember lit, Grayson thought. How could the barrel be of use now, Grayson thought. The mouse couldn't help. As the glowing ash fell to the surface of the barrel, it sizzled, rainwater snuffing out the ember. Grayson considered the ash. The mouse preferred to keep its natural hair colour. The barrel was too wet. Besides, the wood shavings wouldn't light on their own, Grayson thought. What a cosy little nest, Grayson thought. The wood shavings were alight. Ha! But it didn't look particularly impressive. How can I aggravate the flames? Grayson thought. How can I aggravate the flames? Grayson thought. How could the barrel be of use now? Grayson thought. How can I aggravate the flames? Grayson thought. The rainwater gushed into the drain. Grayson didn't think that would help. The mouse had never been keen on sewers. The oil lamp burned brightly, illuminating the kitchen. I can't take that, Grayson thought. The kitchen would go dark. Then the chef would surely notice. The mouse had never been fond of fire. The chef had a tired, underappreciated look to him. Grayson couldn't sneak past the chef. He would have been caught. He needed to get rid of him somehow. The mouse took a peek at the chef. Yep, this man has definitely killed his fair share of rodents, it seemed to say. Grayson needed to get into the pub, but first, the chef needed to go. Grayson spotted a bottle of gin. It looked full, and strong, no doubt. Grayson couldn't reach it without being spotted. The mouse pointed its snout towards the shelf enthusiastically. A bag of flour sat on the shelf, squashed, fraying at the seams. Several shelves were fixed to the wall with what could only be described as shoddy workmanship. Grayson couldn't reach the shelf without being spotted. It required a discreet solution. What a leap! The mouse had done it. Now it was time to get to work. The shelf was half collapsed on one side, held up by a sack of flour. The mouse cocked its head curiously. It seemed to be devising a plan. The bottle was far too heavy to push. The mouse had to find another way to get it to Grayson. The shelf had a sheer edge. The mouse would fall if it wasn't careful. We needed to find a safer way down. The shelf was held up by a sack of flour. The mouse narrowed its eyes, chirruping deviously. The shelf was held up, the mouse narrowed it. It was too risky. The mouse needed a safer way to climb down. bottle was far too heavy to push.
Bloody thing won't stay shut. I'll sort it later. I'm behind as it is. What? How the...
Eric? What? God's sake, man! This place is a mess!
It wasn't me, Addy. It was...
I don't want to hear it, Eric. Get this cleaned up. That soup ready.
It's not right yet. It needs to reduce just a little bit.
Leave it. Just... leave it. Wait there.
So this. Oof, yeah, that's the stuff. That'll get me through. Back to work.
The chef was tipsy, but the gin was well within eyeline. Grayson needed a distraction. The chef looked content, in a dizzy, angry sort of way. Grayson felt guilty. He wanted to apologise, but he needed to stick to the plan. The chef had to go. The mouse chirped to itself, seemingly proud of the demolition. The broom was leaning against the kitchen counter. Grayson had never been keen on cleaning.
Yeah! Get no stinging rat! Get out me kitchen! I'll kill...
Eric! Are you daft? What are you doing and get to work? Please!
Sorry, Mara. Back to it!
The chef looked frazzled. Grayson felt guilty. He wanted to apologise, but he needed to stick to the plan. The chef had to go. The mouse chirped to itself, seemingly proud of the demolition. The chef was in the way. Grayson had to get rid of him.
Yeah! Get no stinging rat! Get out me kitchen! I'll kill...
Eric! Are you daft? Quiet doing and get to work, please!
Sorry, Mara. Back to it.
The ale had become almost indistinguishable from the rainwater. The smell of alcohol seemed to permeate through the bottle. It must have been very strong stuff.
Crisis averted. Aye.
Eric!
Shit.
Eric! Where are you? Why is this kitchen still a mess? What?
Addy, Mara, now listen. I don't know what's been happening.
Done, Mara me, you shit! You're sacked! Done! Finished! Gone! Before I wring your sodden neck!
Addy, please, just hear me out, like... Rats! What if it was... rats? All along.
Yeah!
Bloody hell!
Right. Yeah.
Grayson felt ready, anxious, determined. Looking down at the mouse once again, one bolstered by the other, they entered the pub, ready to meet their fate head on. Just one more step on the road back home, back to Grayson's father.